All right, am I serving enough whimsical wizard core today? Hi, I'm Aaron, aka Visionaaron, and today I'm going to talk about how breaking some interior design rules can actually help you improve your space depending on your tastes. When you want a unique and individual personalized space, sometimes the best thing you can do is not doing what everybody else is doing. Of course, you need to follow safety guidelines for electrical and plumbing and all those official stuff like that. But when you're talking about paint or you're talking about decorations, decor and furniture and those kind of items, go wild, do what makes you happy, even if it doesn't follow the rules. If you'd like to see some of the colorful and creative makeovers that I've done so far in this rainbow house, then check out some of the other videos on my channel. Before I tell you which rules I break, I should probably give you a little bit of my background information. I am a visual artist and I have worked as a makeup artist in the fashion industry and entertainment industries for decades. And so my perspective is going to be a little different than your average, Utah mommy blogger or something like that. My taste is not necessarily going to be mainstream, as you can see from how I present myself, but I want you to know that a lot of what I like has also been developed over time from working on different photo shoots and video shoots for fashion and entertainment, where we also either create locations like worlds on sets where they build kind of like a fake house that you shoot a fashion campaign in, or we actually go to interesting looking locations at beautiful homes, eccentric homes, quirky homes, or even luxurious palaces. So I've been exposed to lots of different interesting interiors that then we have to decide how to create the persona or person that is going to inhabit that space through makeup, hair, and styling, and lighting, and photography. And so I have an understanding of all those things and how they come together, and that informs the space that I created for myself as well. It also means that I'm not trying to create a space that looks classic or understatedly elegant or things like that, or neutral or safe. I'm trying to do a space that maybe makes people feel happy or inspired or creative when they come. And for myself to feel creative and happy and colorful. I feel so happy every time I walk into this space. It's so cool for me to see this flow of colors that look kind of painterly and watercolory all over the walls. That leads me to the first interior design rule that I love breaking. For example, when they say, no accent walls, or keep all the walls the same color in a room so that it doesn't become too busy, etc. I break that rule because I literally mix my own paints and test the shades, and I decide to go slightly different shades on each wall depending on the light, depending on what art is going to be there, depending on what furniture is going to be pushed up against it. And so I don't believe that we need to have a room necessarily just be all one color of wall in that space. Why? For me, it's an opportunity to have lots of different colors to look at or to go up and stand against. I don't know, I just like seeing variations on shades, which is why, for example, in my orange living room, I have colors that are like cinnamon, paprika, burnt orange, pumpkin orange, and even tangerine and those kind of things, sherbet colors. I like to have many different shades around me that kind of flow. And then when you experience the space in 3D, you'll actually see that it flows kind of in a circle. Like in this room, you see it goes from like kind of pink and magenta and then red and orange and yellow, and behind the camera greens, until it gets to like light blues and then lavenders. And it's actually a map for the house because all the different rooms have different colors that correspond to the colors in this hallway. So there's a method to my madness. A lot of interior designers will tell you just to paint all of the walls the same color in a room, but I say paint them whatever feels right for you. I envision each wall as if it's its own work of art or it's its own installation. What work is going to be put up against it? What furniture is going to be there? What is going to contrast? Or what shapes are the different things that you put on the wall going to make on that color? And I decide on that. And then also as you move around the room, how does your eye flow with the color? Is it pleasing to me? Then it's good for me. But you do what's good for you. I don't do what's the normal rules, but it's actually what makes me happy, and I'm really happy with the results. If you'd like to see what I did, go check out some of my other videos so you can see what I'm talking about. Also, when you have all walls that are slightly different colors, it's better for me if I have them within the same family of colors that relate to each other somehow. With you, it might be using contrasting colors that bounce off of each other. Maybe you use the color of the couch on the opposing wall or something like that. There's different combinations, but I like to do very tone on tone because that's a little bit how I like to dress as well. So if you're still here and you're enjoying my perspective, that means you should probably give me a like. If I made you think about something that was interesting, made you smile, or inspired you to do something in your own home that's a little bit colorful and creative, then you should definitely give me a like. But if you really wanted to give me a gift and help me out, you'd click that follow, because I'm such a small channel and I would love for this video to reach more people and be able to make this effort of making a whole video get out there to more people, you know? Help a brother out. So click down below and let's go. So the next interior design rule that I love to break for my own house is that when people worry and warn you about too strong overhead lighting.
Lighting is murdering the vibe at your house.
I actually love strong overhead lighting. You'd be like, what? I've heard that that's always negative, right? But actually, in my experience working in fashion photography and videos and those kind of things, not all light is equal. If you say one overhead light that's a boob light, it's very different from other forms of lamps and lighting and the intensity and things like that, and the diameter. All of those things make a difference. For example, one of the most flattering types of light that we often create on people is with these like softbox lights that you'll see in the background when they're doing behind the scenes in photo shoots and things like that, where it's a light that then gets dispersed through a little bit of a translucent filter that spreads the light out over a larger surface area so that you don't get as harsh, sharp shadows, and it actually brightens things, but it gives a little bit of like softer shadows. And for me, it's really flattering and illuminates the space beautifully. So I actually like that. And my solution inside of my own home is to have several rooms with very large diameter lights on the ceiling. So they're flush mount and they're very wide. And that wide kind of overhead light actually looks like this like angelic halo kind of illuminating you when you go in the room, and doesn't make those like ugly harsh shadows that you think of when you think of bad overhead lighting. So it also leads me to my next kind of related interior design rule that I love to break, which is that about cold, warm. Everybody always loves to rant about, oh, warm is the best. You should always have warm white, warm lights, all that kind of cozy interior lighting that we always talk about. Well, I sometimes like to use daylight, and it depends on the situation. But for some rooms, I like to have the overhead light have the possibility of having daylight, because then it makes the colors in that room read more true to what they are. Of course, it changes when you use warm lights, but a lot of people will tell you that you need to have kind of the same temperature bulbs in the whole room. I don't do that. Of course, it's a mistake for interior designers, but I actually enjoy that, because when I have the overhead light on, I often want to see what I'm doing. I do projects all over my house, and I'm always doing kind of like crafting things, trying on outfits, taking selfies, matching the background, that kind of thing. So I actually like there to be a more natural daylight look, even if I turn it on at night. But the way you can get the best of both worlds is that a lot of them are actually able to be temperature controlled. So for example, I can turn the light warm or cool, or dim it down if you have a dimmer switch, for example, as well. So you can really buy lights now that offer you the best of all worlds if you want. And when you want to develop that cozy, welcoming, warm environment that everybody talks about, that's really able to be done with so many different lamps and sconces and things like that in the room. And I like to have at least one large overhead light that illuminates the space really well when I want it to be illuminated, and when I want to be able to see things, what's going on, what the true colors of things are. I can see your true colors shining through. I'm not a singer. I'm just doing it. I don't even know if I want to put that on. That's embarrassing if I'm singing on YouTube. I'm learning how to do YouTube. I'm not trying to make people think I'm trying to be on America's Got No Talent or whatever. So the next interior design rule that I love to break in my own house is not being too matchy-matchy. Can you tell when you look at me? I love matching my environment. Even my outfit right now kind of goes with the painterly colors all behind me in this world. I love being matchy-matchy. And I remember there was a point, I think maybe in the early 2000s, when I was working on a lot of photo shoots in Milan and things like that. And I realized that a lot of the fashion editors would say, oh, we don't want it to be too matchy-matchy. That's too matchy-matchy. There was this kind of prevalent thought that for things to look cool, to make them seem more effortless, you had to be a little bit mismatched and not look like you're trying too hard. Of course, times have changed, and since then, I remember when I was wearing a lot of monochromatic and tone-on-tone looks, it wasn't popular at the time, and then it gradually has cycled through those things becoming popular again and other people discovering it, and you'll see it in lots of shows even nowadays. But I found that by going in tone-on-tone and monochromatic looks, it actually makes you really pop in a crowd because you're just like really committing to one color. And I really like that when I would go to events in the fashion world and things like that. And I like to bring some of that kind of philosophy also into my home. So I have rooms that are thematic in color and a lot of tone on tone. And they tend to look more matchy than most interior designers would recommend, who usually want some kind of complementary contrasting color. So if you have a lot of yellows and ochres or something like that, they'll say put in some lilac, lavender, or purple. Or they'll say, oh, if you have a lot of blue, then put a burnt orange pillow over there or something like that. And they like that kind of contrast to break things up so that it doesn't look too matchy. But like in fashion, when I'm trying to make an impact and be different from other people, a lot of times by going very, very matchy and really owning it, it shows that you made an effort to research or look or create your own items and paint them yourself, so that it creates this world that's very tone on tone, and it looks almost like it's been illustrated in a kind of monochromatic technique, and I really enjoy that effect. I don't mind if people look like they're trying too hard, whether it's in their outfits or in their home. I love standing out in a crowd. I'm not letting anybody dim my shine, my chroma, my sauce, whatever you want to call it. I like shining bright like a diamond, or like an emerald, or like a rainbow maybe is better. So there we have it. Those are some of the interior design rules that I love to break for my own home, and I feel it actually helps my home have more originality, more creativity, and more character by not following the rules. I would love to know if there's any rules of interior design that you break in your own space and that you are happy to break, and which ones. Please let me know down in the comments. And if there's anything that I forgot that maybe you're like, oh, you broke all the rules of good taste with your tacky home, or whatever you feel, let me know down below, because I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. If you'd like to see what I've done in my other spaces, please check out my other renovation and home decor videos that I have on my channel. I'm putting out lots of creative content for you in a lot of my adventures and thrifting, upcycling, and all these different projects that I have coming down the pipeline. So I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.